To be honest, I don't even really know where to begin this video. I have been all over the place in my head the last couple of weeks. We're just gonna start with Revisions Bootcamp. What is going on there? This is kind of upsetting to talk about, but I'm just gonna take some deep cleansing breaths and move forward. So as many of you will know who have been watching my channel for the last 3 months, I have been doing a revisions boot camp. I finished writing the first draft of my novel back in November for NaNoWriMo, and my plans this year during the first quarter was I really wanted to finish my revisions so that I could prepare my book for beta readers and send it off to beta readers for beta feedback. So this would have been my 8th week of revisions boot camp. And I vlogged week 6 and I vlogged week 7, and during week 7, so last week, I had a crazy week where I just got really sick out of nowhere. Like, I have no idea where it came from, but I got really sick, and I had 2 days off from work that I had specifically requested so that I could work on my book, and I had really big plans for those days. And I ended up spending both of those days sick in bed. I still was able to work on my book, but being sick in bed, it gave me a lot of time to reflect on my revisions boot camp experience. I was laying in bed, sick as all get out, vlogging in bed, looking terrible, coughing, and talking about, oh, it's week 7. And I realized it is week 7, and I'm still not done revising chapter 1. And I felt terrible. I was like, that's ridiculous. And I feel like a crazy person that I have been working on revisions for 7 weeks and I haven't even gotten past chapter 1. My original intention for revision boot camp was that I wanted something to push me. I wanted it to feel like NaNoWriMo, in that I'd feel like I'm in the middle of a boot camp. And so it's an excuse to say no to other things and to work harder on my book than I would otherwise. But that didn't end up happening over the 7-week period, you know, and I didn't have any plans of how long the revisions boot camp was supposed to go. I didn't have any specific goals, which was my first problem right there. So I ended up, you know, learning a thing or two from my failed revisions boot camp, and so it's all right. Basically, long story short, it just occurred to me that it would be ridiculous for me to continue going with my revisions boot camp when it clearly wasn't making any difference for me. It wasn't making me work more on my book than I would have otherwise. I still have my life that I have to live, and a lot of other things were just getting in the way of writing, and I wasn't pushing them off, even though I was supposedly doing a revisions boot camp. Whatever purpose I had hoped it would fulfill, it did not. And so I am calling it quits on my revisions boot camp. It is officially over and done. And as I was editing my vlogs for week 6 and week 7 the other day, it just ended up being something I didn't want to post because not enough was accomplished for me to feel like it was even worth posting. Basically what happened was I was taking the first like 5 chapters of my draft 1 and I was trying to squeeze them down into 1 or 2 chapters, and I was rewriting them completely. So over the course of 7 weeks, I mean, it took me, 4 weeks just to finish the read through of my novel, and then over the next 3 weeks I was rewriting chapter 1 over and over and over again, and it was like beating a dead horse. I mean, I hate that expression, it's so gross, but that's what it was like. So finally, after being sick in bed for 2 days and working on my book pretty much from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed and in between naps and everything, I was able to get to a point with my chapter 1 where I was like, okay, I'm gonna call this done now because I do not want to see this again until after it's been through a round of beta readers. And so really that's all that was accomplished during my 7-week revision boot camp, was that I did my read through and I rewrote chapter 1. But now I can move on, and I just need something fresh because obviously Revisions Boot Camp just didn't do it for me. Okay, now we've got Camp NaNoWriMo coming up. And for Camp NaNoWriMo, I don't want to just do the same thing I was doing Revisions Boot Camp because obviously something has to give. Something needs to change for my productivity to pick up. And so I've been reflecting back on everything that went wrong during my Revisions Boot Camp, what I think the problems were. The first problem is that I didn't have specific goals. The second problem was that I did not write consistently every day because I didn't really make a goal to do that. I didn't have any way to measure my success necessarily. I would think, I want to finish chapter 1 and chapter 2 today. I want to be on chapter 3 by the end of the day today. The goals were too vague and I wasn't setting realistic expectations for myself. And from one week to the next, I never learned or changed anything. I just kept doing the same thing over and over again. That's going to change in Camp NaNoWriMo. And so we are switching this over now and we're going to be talking about Camp NaNoWriMo. For those of you who don't know, NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month, which happens every November. It's a virtual writing experience where a lot of people sign up online. They all set the goal to write 50,000 words before the end of the month. So NaNoWriMo is very intense and I love it, but it's definitely not for everybody. I know that. If you're one of those people who setting a goal to write 50,000 words in a month is just overwhelming and it doesn't motivate you. It has the opposite effect. I know that there are those of you out there, you know who you are. I really think that Camp NaNoWriMo might be more your speed because Camp NaNoWriMo happens twice a year. So it happens once in the spring in April and then once the beginning of the summer in July. It lasts the whole month, but the difference between Camp NaNoWriMo and the NaNoWriMo in November is that during Camp NaNoWriMo, you set your own goal. And so that can be either a word count goal. You can say, I want to write 5,000 words in the month, or I want to write 10,000, 50,000, the sky's the limit. But you can also set a time goal. So say if word count is not your favorite way of tracking your writing progress, you can set a goal for time. So say, I want to write for so many hours this month. And so for me, I've decided that my goal for camp is 30 hours of writing. I'm going to try to write for 1 hour every day or work on my book for 1 hour every day. Normally, I do feel really driven setting word count goals, but because I'm revising right now, I feel like word count is not going to be a super accurate way to like push me forward because maybe sometimes my book won't need for me to write necessarily. It will require me reading through, cutting things out, switching scenes up, maybe doing a little bit of more research here and there. And so I just want to make sure I'm working on my book for 1 hour every day, whatever that looks like according to the needs of my book throughout the month. So that is my goal for Camp NaNoWriMo. Ideally, of course, I would like to finish revisions completely. I don't feel like that's a very realistic expectation of myself considering the way the last 7 weeks have gone. And so I was trying to think, what can I do during Camp NaNoWriMo to make it a fun experience for me, to help me fall in love with my book again, because right now I feel so sick of that first chapter that it kind of has turned me off to the whole revisions thing, which is obviously that's not what I want. So I was trying to think of, okay, what are some goals that I can set for myself to help me feel excited about working on my book and to make this feel more like a summer camp kind of experience. Like it's a virtual camp experience and it's super cute because you go on the website and it looks like camping and everything. And I started my channel during Camp NaNoWriMo of last year in July, and so it just has it's become this nostalgic, exciting thing for me, and I want it to be fun, and I want it to be, I want it to feel like an experience like it did the first time. The first time I did Camp NaNoWriMo last year, I actually created a big poster board way to track my progress throughout the month, and I put it up in my dining room where I could see it every single morning, first thing when I walked out of my room. I really liked that, and I kind of want to do it again for camp this month. So I'll be working on that. Maybe I'll make a video of it, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how time works out for me. Another thing I've decided I'm going to do to make camp fun and exciting for me and to help me to get excited about my book again is that instead of going chapter by chapter in revisions the way I was doing during my revisions boot camp, that was a big failure, I'm going to focus on a specific part of my book that I want to improve, and I've decided that that is going to be the love story. During my drafting phase, I kind of kept putting the love story on the back burner and skipping over scenes, just thinking like, I really want to be able to dedicate more time to this and I really want it to be fun. But right now I'm just trying to fast draft and get this draft done. And so I kept putting the love story on the back burner, the B plot. I didn't really get to flesh it out as much as I would like it to be. It would be really fun for me to just work on like all the love scenes and focus on the character development and relation development between these two characters. When I originally wrote this book back in high school, it was just a love story. That was the only focus of the book, was it was a love story between these two characters. And these characters have changed since then. The book has changed since then. In my rewriting of this book, I really wanted to add more depth to it. I wanted it to be more than just a love story. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course. There's nothing wrong with a book that's purely just a love story that's romance. But I wanted this particular book to have more to it, and I wanted my protagonist to have more growth and more things that she experiences outside of this love story. I wanted the love story to be more of like a side plot. And so what ended up happening was it just kept getting pushed back and then like nothing happened. So when my critique partner was reading through it, she's like their relationship is really underdeveloped. You skipped over like all the cute stuff. And I was like, I know, because I'm gonna write it later. And so I'm making that later now. I don't know. I want April to just be a month where I can get giddy again about things like that, and my homework is going to be watching all of my favorite romantic movies and reading all of my favorite romantic chapters in books and stuff like that. And so that's going to be my homework during the month, and I'm just going to allow myself to just have fun and get into all those, all those fun emotions that for some reason I don't allow myself to get into that often. And so I want to ask you guys for your help. If you could recommend to me, what are your favorite love stories? And this could be in a book or it could be a movie, and please just tell me down below in the comments what you would recommend, because I need some more homework to do during the month of April. And doing my homework, that is watching these movies and reading these books and things, is not going to count towards my hour of writing or working on my book. I have to actually be working on my book for an hour, but then outside of that, I'm going to be doing some homework and, try to get back into that fluffy, lovey stage, I guess. I don't know. I just thought it would make April really fun, and I thought it would help me to have fun with my book again, to get excited about things if I could just work on the love story. So that's my plan for the month of April. We will see how it goes. But yeah, I think that pretty much catches you guys up on everything up to this point. But as far as Camp NaNoWriMo goes, I am so excited to do it, to get started. We start in 4 days or something like that. Ooh, hopefully I can get this video up tonight. Anybody out there, if you are planning on participating in Camp NaNoWriMo and you do not have a cabin yet, for anybody who doesn't know, Camp NaNoWriMo, you're actually put into a virtual cabin. So you have your cabin mates that you can message with on the website, and you can all encourage each other. You can reach out to them and ask them for help and things like that. So I have a really awesome cabin going. I'm so excited about all the people that are in my cabin this year, and we do have more space. So if any of you out there are not in a cabin yet and you're looking for a cabin, you are more than welcome to join ours. We would be happy to have you. Even if you don't usually comment on my videos and you just watch, but you would like to be part of our cabin, just let me know down below. Go ahead and create your Camp NaNoWriMo profile, because I can't invite you until you have a profile. And then you can just comment below what your username is, and I will send you an invitation to our cabin. And yeah, it is gonna be a really fun time. I'm super, super excited, and I'm glad that I'm excited about it, because revisions boot camp was rough, and I'm just ready to have fun with writing again and to make it a game. So if you are participating in Camp NaNoWriMo, please let me know down below. Are you excited about it? What is it that you're going to be working on? If you are not participating in camp because you've got other things going on, don't feel bad. There's another camp coming around in July. There'll be plenty of opportunities. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of your support, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Would you come take a walk with me? We'll cross over the mountains, we'll reach the pale blue sea.
I love you. I'm so glad